Today is Saturday, November 29th, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 49, Week 10.
All right. This is our 10th attempt to begin recording.
To get started today.
We're having a rough day, aren't we? Oh, well. This is our listener feedback show. We do recaps on Wednesdays, and on Saturdays, we get together with our best buddies, the other Survivor super fans, and talk about the latest episode of our favorite show and make predictions about what we think is going to come next, which is mighty handy for the folks that are playing in the Fantasy League. We look forward to it. We're glad you're here. Do we have any business before we get started?
Nothing I can think of.
It's a busy holiday weekend, but we are fortunate enough to have, how many?
16.
16 super fans checking in to talk about this latest episode, which might just be the best one of the season so far.
Oh yeah, I think it definitely is.
Yeah, well, let's see what everybody else thought. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. In the words of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, finally, so help me, we got a great episode of Survivor 49. Although I wish that it would have worked out for Savannah or Rizzo to go. But nevertheless, here's a big Now that was a doozy-woozy good episode, man. So much back and forth, flip-flopping. You had three different names that were coming up and about. Steven, whose idol, which was from Christina, got wasted because he got no votes. Savannah's name. Rizzo not playing his idol. He bluffed everyone. I don't know if Savannah and him planned all that. To basically Savannah using the extra vote. And ultimately, one of my favorites, Jawan, got blindsided, and I was sad. I mean, okay, I don't know if Jawan would have won the game. Maybe he would have. Hey, yeah, he didn't really win challenges, but he held his own. He was in a few with them. He was on the winning team to start the season. I thought he had a solid social game, and he was likable. Even Savannah and them all admitted it, too. Rizzo, I'm sure, saw it, too. That's why they chose to get rid of him over Sage. Whereas Sage, even though Sage has played pretty good too, but she hasn't done anything in challenges to be seen as a threat. And now, here you have it, guys. Rizzo, I don't know how, has the idol, and now it looks like him, Savannah, Soph, and even Sophie, who won an immunity challenge for the second time today, have control now. And good luck to Christina, Steven, and Sage now. Because Christina played her idol, you guys think another idol will come into play? That would be somewhat their only hope. Or if one of them could pull off immunity. But it doesn't look good now. An interesting choice by Sophie to go with the latter, meaning Rizzo, Soph, and Savannah. And to her credit, I get it, because she sees Savannah as the next big threat besides herself. And why not have her as a shield there and then get rid of her when it suits her? Hopefully it pans out for her. Because logically, I think it might have made better sense for her to stick with the other people. Christina's not going to be seen as a threat. I don't know if Sage could have been seen as a jury threat, and Steven as well. So maybe that was the right move for Sophie. I like that she's playing for sure. But wow, what a great episode. This was, to me, the best episode of the season. So I hope Probst is right that we have a good finish from now until till the finale. All right, guys, well, take care. I'll see if there's any good extra clips. And the interview probably won't be till next week because it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Take care. Woo.
Whoa, thanks, Pete. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen any interviews. They usually do them on Monday following a holiday. Like
Yep,
that.
that's true. I had forgotten about that.
Good stuff. Next up, we got an email from Tara in New York. Hi, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor friends. Another week, another 3 points for me. The worst part is I had Jawan as my vote out until the last minute. Well, I'll happily take the loss since we had a pretty great episode. I'm not usually big on the challenges, but I was happy to see a water challenge and the teeter-totter tubes look fun. Still, I'm having trouble really investing in most of these players for some reason. I'm with you there. Plus, the few I do care about keep blowing it. I'm also torn as to how I feel about Christina's emotional scenes. Even so, I do have a few thoughts. Sage is still my favorite character, so I had my fingers crossed hoping she could pull off the Savannah blindside. However, it just seems that Savannah and Rizzo are in a different league as far as gameplay. I knew it was all over as soon as she told Sophie yes about the plan. Juwan, Steven, and Christina were all over the place this week, so it's no wonder she would rather lock in as the fourth member of a solid group and hope for a win at Fire. That brings me to Tribal Council. Right off, Rizzo says, I'm kind of here to put on a show. Rizzo is obviously a good player because he's made it this far with an idol in his pocket. Something about him seems, well, showy, though. I really hope he played the fake idol to judge everyone's reactions like Rachel in season 47. I just can't help but think it was mostly for the TV spectacle, though. I think you're right. Finally, it's probably fan fiction, but I'm hoping Sophie B will flip and make her big move next week. For some reason, her confessional after finding the knowledge is power has been stuck in the back of my head ever since. She says, I don't want to tell Savannah and Rizzo I found this, even though they're my allies right now. Who knows what they'll be in a couple of days. Right now, I do know who has the idol, and it's Rizzo. I'd love to see Soph steal Rizzo's idol and join Sage to take down either Rizzo or Savannah. If that happens, we should be in for a wild ride. Even though it might not sound like it, I really did enjoy the episode and can't wait to see what happens next. I'm really excited to hear from everyone and maybe break my JSFL losing streak. As always, thanks Joanna and Stacy for all you do. Have a great week, all. Thanks, Tara. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California for 3 more days with my thoughts on episode 10 of season 49 of Survivor. I found it to be a highly emotional episode, from Christina's breakdown at the reward challenge, which was really hard. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be out in the heat and the sun, no food, no sleep, everybody edgy. I think it would strip you down to your barest emotions, as we saw it happen to her. And it was one of those TV moments that Jeff cherishes so much, but it got me. I found it sweet and emotional. To Sage's tears when Joanne was voted out, she was legitimately gutted that she lost him and she was outplayed by Savannah and Rizzo and Sophie and Sophie. When she realized that she was so on the outs and that her number one was gone, that was a real moment. I like Sage. I know I say it every week. I find her to be more of a mean girl than Savannah. Oh gosh, that part where she looked Christine in the eyes and said, well, who are you voting for? She's really direct. She's confrontational. I don't think she's a mean girl. I think she's confrontational, direct, and really self-assured, and it sets people off. I love that Rizzo's psych moment. I'm going to play my idol psych. It's not real, just wanted to read the room. That was pretty cool. Go Rizzo. You're doing great, you young whippersnapper. I was confused, and I haven't listened to your feedback show yet, but I would, maybe you address this. I was confused why little Sophie, even hearing wind that Christina had an idol, didn't use her knowledge as power. I really expected her to whip that out, and I don't know that there's anything left for her to use it for now. The extra vote is gone. The idols are gone, I guess another idol will come into play now. But I really wanted to see her use her knowledge as power. It was really a showdown of the opposing fractions, and the quadrant that I love the best, Sophie, Savannah, Rizzo, came out on top. So I was happy to see that, although I did lose my first vote-out point of the season. I had a save point on Jawan. I really thought it was going to be Steven going, based on the extra scenes provided by CBS. I thought it was a done deal. It was going to be Steven. It's exciting not to know. And I will take that 3-point week to be stunned and surprised at the outcome of Tribal Council, because it wasn't as fun pre-merge when it was so obvious what was going to happen. I think Sage goes next. I was going to say maybe Steven, but I'm putting it all in on Sage. Anywho, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Everyone have a wonderful holiday weekend. We are packing to leave for Oahu on Monday, where my next feedback will be from. And I thank you all for all that you do, especially you, Joanne and Stacy. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, Rizzo still got his idol, so there's still a play for Sophie B there, and who knows what else they'll find.
Well, here's my thought. How much real credit is she going to get if she takes Christina's idol when she can make a huge play and take Rizzo's?
Yeah, to trump all his showmanship. Every time he amps it up a little bit, it'll make it that much more when she takes it, maybe.
I agree.
If she's able to use it to good effect. Yeah, I kind of like that story.
I think that's what she's holding on. And Christina she knew that Christina would only play it for herself or Steven. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't matter. The idol didn't matter, and it will come back into play, though. But still, I really think Sophie B is planning to take Rizzo's idol. And I think she's kind of had that in the back of her mind the whole time.
Yeah, I think Tara really nailed that one, going back to her observation. Good deal. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got a call from Ryan.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Ryan from Central Iowa. Central Iowa is getting ready for a very strong winter storm, about 12 to 14 inches or so is what they say. So we're going to be snowing in over the next couple of days, but that's all right. That's what we're here for. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. On the episode, I'm still not really understanding the fear of going after these top three. Sage made a comment about how Christina with her idol was a massive threat, a very big threat. But again, I don't understand, why is she more of a threat than Rizzo? And why the fear to go after them? I don't get it. Beginning of the episode, Sophie S. was playing a very good game, kind of playing both sides, but not sharing information like a tattletale, like they said this about you, this is where they're going. And so I felt she was playing a good game in that aspect at the beginning of the episode. I really liked the tunnel challenge in immunity. I thought that was hilarious. I liked it a lot. And then Sophie S. just kind of goes and blows the secrets. She picked her side. She picked the side that she's going to work with. And it blew up for Sage and Jawan. And they made the comment about how Sage and Jawan were playing both sides. And I kind of get that. I kind of understand that. I do wish they had picked a side and went with it and went after the three of them. They did, and it backfired because of Sophie S. and the extra vote. I just felt as if it was a good move. They had to make it, and it kind of blew up. And now we're going to see what happens. I think Jeff made a comment on his podcast or in an article about how Savannah is the new Parvati. I don't see that. Parvati was good in challenges. Savannah's good in challenges. But Parvati could get people to do things by just sweet talking and talking kindness to people, and then she would stab them in the back. Savannah doesn't have that. You can definitely see this mean girl energy that people are talking about. And so I'm not a fan, and that's how she wants to play, awesome, that's great. But she talks in her story about how when she made it to her job where she wanted to get, that everybody around her kind of turned their back on her and kind of started talking bad about her and treating her terrible. And not that I condone that, but after seeing how she's treating and manipulating people, if that's how she got to the top, and if that's then how she treated people after she got where she was at, I can understand why people didn't like her and maybe froze her out. I'm not saying that was right, but and again, if she wants to play like that, that's fine. All the more power for her. Just Rizzo and Savannah and Sophie B are just the power three. They're going to probably be in the top 5 almost locked now. We'll see. Hope to hear from everybody else. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. That's interesting. I hadn't considered that if that cold directness is what she was doing in her previous job, that might have contributed to them not wanting to interact a whole lot.
Oh, I thought about it when she was doing it. I thought, ooh, okay.
Interesting. Thanks, Ryan. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Matt and Summer from East Tennessee.
Hi, Survivor friends. This was an emotional episode for many of our remaining castaways. We aren't often moved by breakdowns, but Christina's moment at the rewards challenge hit us more than we expected. Probably a bit unfair contrasted with our lukewarm reaction to Savannah's tears a few weeks ago, but the I want my mom just hit a soft spot for both of us. Good for her for finding her why and pushing through to finish the challenge. We agree that the edit is certainly leaving out a lot of this season, even though it's not new or unexpected at this point. Hate to admit it, but the missing pieces and misdirection is part of why we will never quit watching and obsessing. We keep thinking if we watch every week, we will figure it out and finally predict what will happen next time on. One big mystery for us this season is how the Majority Alliance has managed to let the Power 3 of Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie B run the game. Savannah is the intimidator. Rizzo has managed to turn his idol into some sort of tribal invisibility cloak, but we think Sophie B is the primary power player in this alliance. No, she hasn't made any big moves and hasn't shown to be the leader or decision maker for the alliance. What she has proven to be amazing yet since day one is her ability to immediately connect and build trust with everyone. It seems clear she is gathering intel from all factions, reporting back to Rizzo and Savannah, allowing them to make the right move time after time, and making the majority look clueless. We were feeling fantastic with our Alex vote-off point last week and ready to do it again for episode 10. That confidence was very fleeting. We went back and forth on our vote out with Christina, our initial pick, but a last-minute switch to Steven. We changed our predictions 7 times during the episode. Yay, it is Steven.
That's what it's like here.
Is it Sage? Oh gosh, they are actually going to take out Savannah. We never had a thought that our USB Rizzo was in danger. He is invisible at Tribal. Tribal was so frustrating. Why didn't Sophie B steal Christina's idol instead of watching it leave the game? Why has Sophie S sided with the Power 3, who seemed likely harder to beat in the long run? Rizzo's fake idol performance was just silly and wildly unnecessary. We didn't get a vote-off point, but kept all our safe points. It is hard not to keep hoping they find a way forward, but Christina or Steven seem destined for vote-off next week.
Wait, what about Sage?
That's true, too. We continue to miss pre-New Era Survivor, but we are truly enjoying this season much more than we expected. That said, looking forward to 50 and finding out if Jeff's oft-repeated claim that New Era players are savvier and more strategic proves true. Time will tell, but we are skeptical. All right, thanks, Matt and Summer. Up next, we have a call from Anderson.
Hey, Joanna Stacy, this is Anderson from North Carolina calling with my feedback for week good. I lost a safe point, so I thought I wanted to say. But next week, it looks like Savannah's going home, but it's not, because she's Jeff's favorite, and she will probably win immunity. Rizzo will place idol for himself or something like that. It will be either Rizzo or Sophie, okay? I can't keep track. Or it'll be Steven, alright? I'm so happy with second place in the side challenge. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Anderson. Well, you got it narrowed down to 3, bud. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. Happy Friday, I think. You guys, this week has been crazy because, by way of explanation, I was promoted, and so I get more holidays off. So Thursday, Friday, I have off in a row. So Wednesday felt like Friday all day, but then today's actual Friday, and my teams are still working, so I'm still kind of checking in on them. So then I was like, oh, wait, tomorrow is Saturday. Anyway, long story short, I actually got to watch Survivor on Thursday with the kids, and I'm actually sending in my feedback on Friday, a whole day before the deadline.
Yeah.
The last few weeks I haven't sent in any because I haven't been able to watch the episode until Saturday afternoon or evening. But I have been catching up. I have been actually submitting picks. So there's that, even though, as Joanne very accurately pointed out, if I run the fight challenge, I'm way down in the basement. So I don't mind that being pointed out, especially since I am, luckily, have no skin in the game this time. But this episode actually I really liked. I was bummed because I thought this was going to be such an amazing blind side of Rizzo. And I've been watching and waiting for that. Here's the thing about Rizzo. He thinks he's the ultimate new era Survivor player, and he's really actually not. I think they keep hyping it up, but I don't know, is that because they're hyping him up for a huge fall? Or are they hyping him up for season 50? Or are they hyping him up for final 3? I don't know. It just seems like disproportionate hype. And maybe a lot of that is just because he's attributing it himself. So I was really hoping for that. But regardless, Joanne, it was exciting. And it's funny, they went for the relay, even in the individual immunity. And I'm like, come on. I wanted to see some endurance or the pecking order or something. But it was fine. I actually was stayed awake the whole time. I enjoyed the challenges. It was fun, and the kids were super into it. And then I will tell you, the boy band segment was one of the most enjoyable to me in several weeks. I don't know why. Like, I literally laughed out loud when Steven went through their song titles to San Juan and Blindside Me Baby. That was really, really enjoyable. So I hope everyone had a really happy Thanksgiving. It was a nice way to spend a late morning on a holiday, watching TV, so something I don't usually get to do because I just don't have much time. It's funny, I'm not in a Christmas show this year, and I still just don't have much time. It's interesting, but always catching up, always keeping up with you guys and everyone else, and thanks for the feedback. And I gotta say, Sophie S., my USB, I stuck with her. She's looking pretty good. She was kind of invisible for the first part, but one of those Sophies, for sure, is going to be in the finals. Do you hate the Soph designation? I'm just probably going to go with Sofa, because that's the vantage point from which I watch Survivor. All right, everyone have a good weekend. Bye.
When we were rewatching yesterday, I was thinking Sophie B looks like she's always in her pajamas. And he's talking about watching from the sofa. So it made me remember that. Good deal. Thanks, Drew. Glad you got to see everything. Got to get your feedback in. Next up, got an email from Crystal in Santa Rosa, California. Well, that was exciting. So many possibilities happening at once. However, I must have been distracted because I certainly didn't hear many discussions about getting out Jawan. They happened really quick, just before they went into travel. Perhaps it's because I was so excited that Savannah would be going. Boo-hoo for me. I like Rizzo, but wish he had a different alliance partner so I could properly cheer him on. I guess my new wish will be that if they make it to the end, his getting rid of her will be magnificent. Is there any chance he would not play his real idol next time? Oh, for sure. They're going to be more comfortable than ever in this control position. I have resisted looking up who the returning players are for season 50, but all I can think about is Tyson taking care of Savannah if they were to return. Wouldn't that be fun? Lastly, for the Rizzo-Savannah drama dynamic, if Sophie B were smart, she'd take Rizzo's idol, right? I think that's what she and Sophie S are going to plot. I do fear that Sophie S will realize what a strategic player Sophie B is for not telling anyone about the knowledge is power and then target her next. Ooh, that could happen. Little did we know that quiet Sophie S would have such a second half comeback. I'm glad you kept her, Joanne.
I didn't.
My USB, you switched to Steven. My USB Sage will probably have a meltdown back at camp, but hopefully keeps it internal. That was a curveball that hurt her deeply, and I just hope she snaps out of it quickly and doubles down her acting abilities. Fingers crossed. The Christina episode was hard to watch, but even harder was watching her give away the idol for Steven. Like the chicken remorse, I think it will also make him feel terrible because he knows he hasn't been that loyal to her. Maybe that was what his cry face was all about in the previews for next week. That's a good guess. Oh, and remember, if he has that kind of remorse. Oh, and remember last week when I asked about why there were not many water challenges anymore? It happened in the following episode, so I'll try this for my boy Steven. Where are all the memory quizzes? Or a Jeff Storytime riddle solving through the jungle game. Steven's brain will persevere. You get him, rocket scientist. I really want him in the final 3. Hope everyone
Me too.
Hope everyone had a peaceful Thanksgiving with family and friends, especially you two. Thanks, Crystal. We really did. We had a really nice Thanksgiving, didn't we?
Yep.
It was quiet. No construction.
Oh, yeah, for real. No dust.
Yeah. Next up, we got a call from David.
Jawan gone good. Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's David in Pittsburgh, and I'm cutting right to the chase. I've been waiting for Jawan to be voted out for weeks now. In fact, the last 2 weeks, I had him as my vote out point. And of course, this time I switched to Christina, and he does get voted out. But I think the problem I have with Jawan was in the beginning, I'm not sure how I felt about him at the start of the game, but it got to the point where I just was getting kind of tired of him mugging for the cameras and putting his face in his hands and Uncle Jay this. And I think at the beginning they started showing him doing that, but then producers stopped actually focusing on him doing it, but you could see him doing it in the background. So he was playing for the cameras all this time. And yes, his behavior was he was playing a game for $1 million. I get it. But on the other hand, it just felt like he was crossing a line. I just wish in his confessionals we would have seen there was some conflict in his decision, especially about voting Rizzo out, that he valued the relationship, but he knew he had to do it. But no, he was always playing it like he was some melodramatic villain. You could say he was Iago to Rizzo's Othello, or maybe Brutus to Rizzo's Caesar. But anyway, after Nate was voted out and Rizzo and Savannah realized that they were betrayed by Jawan and Sage, Rizzo went to him and said, "I don't know, hard feelings, we're okay." But he kept the ammunition, and then we saw how when he was voted off, he said, "You flipped against me once, but I wasn't going to let that happen a second time." And you can tell Jawan was completely blindsided. In fact, he even left with Rizzo's torch. A couple of things. When Sophie was in the voting booth, and she was talking about, "I didn't realize you were so clever and you have to go." We saw her from the back and we didn't see the clue. So do they have several, I'm assuming they have several cameras in the booth so they can show them from the front or from the back. We've seen it happen a few times before, but I just wondered if you know anything about how many cameras are actually in the voting booth. And online, I keep seeing people saying Rizzo's got to go, Savannah's a mean girl. Hey, look, they're playing at a level far and above the other players so far. We'll see how far this goes. It looks like Soph, who's my new USB, Sophie is actually playing a pretty strategic game. Not sure how it's going to get her to the end, but can't wait to see what happens next. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Thanks, David. I don't know that I recall ever seeing anything about the total camera setup in there. They've certainly done the voting booth discussion before, like when they've done something special in there, but I don't remember anything because they've got the front camera, the behind, like you're saying, they've got the overhead camera, but I don't recall seeing any specific rigging discussion. Good stuff. Thanks, David. Next up, we got a call from Pat.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pat calling from Springfield, Missouri at home. I am sitting in my truck in the rain on a cold, rainy Saturday morning calling you before I head to Arizona. Wanted to say, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. I did. It was the first time in several years I was actually home on Thanksgiving Day. I cooked everything, had my parents over. Sadly, my mom both my parents are getting older and hard feelings to do everything, so I cooked everything. Everything turned out great. No fights, no arguments, no family stabbing, so that was good. As for the Survivor episode, I liked this one. I was kind of not sad to see Jawan go, but more like, why didn't you take someone else out? I didn't have feelings one way or other for Jawan other than I am so glad we're not going to hear him say Uncle Jeff anymore. That just makes me cringe every time I hear it. Hopefully, maybe Christina now will stop. I doubt it, but I just can't stand that Uncle Jeff. Speaking of Christina, I don't think I've ever had a character on Survivor go from get off my screen to wow in just a couple minutes of time. What I mean by that, when she is crying, saying how she misses her mom and all this stuff, I just like, come on. I'm sorry. Everybody there misses everybody. You're not special. Get screen time for something else. Then smash cut to her flipping off the balance beam
into the water and hanging on. I thought for sure there's no way this lady is going to be able to pull that off. And Stacy, I was surprised you weren't more impressed by that, because I just don't think she has any upper body strength. Plus, they've been out there so long without food. I was just amazed that she did it. So like I say, I went from get off my screen to holy cow, I can't believe you did that. Speaking of holy cow, Sophie S., or as I like to call Big Sophie, she is just a beast. In challenges, it doesn't matter physical or puzzle. She just blew through that puzzle. Oh, and then Christina was first one in the first part of the challenge. Again, I couldn't believe it, but then she turned into Christina, so that didn't surprise me. For the people I think are playing the best, I think it's Savannah and Rizzo. Every year I watch and I think, why are you not voting this person off? Why are you letting them stay in there? And for me this season, it's Savannah. She just clearly, to me, has the game in hand. Now, that could be what they're showing us, but also I think Rizzo is also that person. So I'm just surprised that they're letting them stick around. And then Sophie B., she was kind of invisible. Excuse me, I know she was in the hammock talking, but that was just about it. I had Steven going, and then, of course, he had no votes going towards him. But other than that, who's going home next? Maybe Steven or Sage. I don't know. Listen to what everybody else has to say. See you later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Pat. I think I was just relieved because it felt to me like that Christina moment was building up to one of those long, drawn-out Cerie moments again. That was exactly what I was expecting, given how it was playing out. And then I was relieved when it wasn't. So you're right. That was impressive that she pulled herself back up.
Oh, absolutely.
She had some help from the buoyancy of the water. It wasn't like she was hanging suspended in midair.
Please, I don't think that's almost impossible to be hanging the way she was hanging and get yourself back up out of the water like that.
I think the way there's the buoyancy of the water that helps, so you're not taking your total weight initially. But the thing that you noticed was that she really maneuvered her leg well, so she could leverage herself up with her leg. And the way she hooked her heel
back up against
wedged
that
under
flat
the
part.
higher side,
yes,
to help lever up. So that was smart.
That would be the only way I could do it. Would be to use my legs like that.
Yeah, she did look like she was going to have one of those Brandon moments where she couldn't climb the ladder up out of the water initially. So, but she definitely leveraged her legs to get her back in, and that was impressive. I was just relieved it wasn't some extended TV moment, although she'd already had part of that earlier with her breakdown. Good deal. Thanks, Pat. Next up, got an email from Maddie in Arizona.
Hey, everybody. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. My mom and I are still recovering from overeating, which happens every year, no matter how much we try to avoid it. For me, I always try to save myself with the main meal, but when the pecan pie comes out, I simply can't resist. Anyhow, Christina's idol was Plush, which was kind of surprising. What was even more baffling was that she didn't get any votes at Tribal Council. But later on in the week, when my mom was on social media, she saw a post from the channel All Winners Survivor that explained what happened. It turns out that Christina left her idol in her bag for a while, and when Soph and Sophie were left alone at the beach, they searched through Christina's bag and found it. Unfortunately, this altered the vote towards Jawan, making me lose my second safe point in a row, as well as turning the Bottoms Up Alliance upside down.
There was an extra clip. I'll make sure to include a link to that in the show notes where they did the search, but they didn't seem 100% sure that they had found it.
Okay. I thought it was funny when Steven, Rizzo, and Jawan made their boy band, the three boys on a bench. It was really the only break they had from all the strategizing and planning for Tribal, so I'm glad they got some relief from the pressure. Next episode, it's looking like Sage is going to be playing a major role. Whether she's going to find the hidden immunity idol and control the vote, or be the next on the chopping block, I'm not sure, but I do know that I'm not marking her as safe this week. Anyways, I'm still undecided about my vote out pick, so I'm looking forward to what everyone else has to say. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. All right, and thank you, Addie.
Ooh, Addie made me think of another alternative. What if Sage is obviously devastated? She lost this round and lost Jawan. She finds another idol.
And she lost Sophie S. because she lied to her.
Right. And then Sophie B takes that idol away from Sage. Yeah, that would be quite the seesaw of emotions for Sage.
I don't think she would take it from Sage. I still think she's holding out to take Rizzo's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be.
I could be
that
wrong.
feels like it would be
but
more exciting the way they've crafted the story and the way they're withholding the social game from us.
It would show how much she was playing because the jury's not seeing it. Nobody's seeing it. She doesn't want anybody to see it.
Right.
But if you hide it too deeply, they may not believe you at the final tribal. But if she holds on to it, tells absolutely no one, which in itself is impressive in Survivor, and uses it well, that would elevate her to the top of the hill as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. Thanks again, Addie. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Rizzo's like that friend we all had. You like him, but every time he opens his mouth, you don't know what will come out. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. Happy belated Thanksgiving. This is Joe from Huntersville. This was a good episode. I would give it a solid 3.5 stars out of 5. They had 2 good challenges, a nice reward, some good strategic discussions, followed by a blindside. Now don't get me wrong, this is far from what Jeff alluded to with the season picking up towards the end, but it's better than no Survivor at all. So, what have we learned? Rizzo doesn't realize that even though the check is for $1 million, the recipient won't be a millionaire. Also, if Christina would have played her idol for Juan instead of Steven, then Savannah would have been gone. Also, Sage and Sophie B are going to target Savannah and Rizzo. I don't think this will play out next week. And finally, Rizzo is not going to play his idol, but he likes the attention he gets for having it. And for some reason, no one is threatened by him having an idol. Well, as mentioned earlier, I think that the Rizzo-Savannah targeting is just a redirect. I think next week's episode will end up with Steven as the elimination. Then, the following week, they can start voting out Rizzo and any other major threats. By the way, have they announced which 2 from this season will be on season 50? This was such a poor season. I'd rather see someone from an older season. Those are my thoughts. As always, I look forward to hearing what the other superfans have to say. Joanne and Stacy, till next time, keep it between the ditches.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Yeah, they haven't officially announced, but it leaked, and the information was out there right after they had announced all but those 2. So that's where that is. Thanks, Joe. Next up, we got a call from Jill.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill in the Outback here. Rizzo and the idol. Was that a play to make everyone think that he doesn't really have an idol? Or was it performative? Was he looking for a reaction to decide to play the real idol? I don't know. If it was performative, that's really annoying. But the other 2 are pretty good gameplay. I don't think they should have shown Christina's meltdown. My heart broke for her, poor thing. And I'm not saying she shouldn't have had a meltdown and shown her emotions. That's all great. And even though Jeff's response was lovely, I just think it was a pretty private moment and played no part in the game, so could have stayed off the episode. Who needs to be seen ugly crying on international TV? I'm sick of Sage saying that it's time to get rid of Savannah or Rizzo. The time to get rid of either of them was 3 or 4 episodes ago when you had the numbers to do split votes and stuff. Ugh. Rizzo and Savannah are playing many levels above everyone else. Maybe Blue Sophie can save herself by taking Rizzo's idol one day, but until then, I don't think anyone else deserves the title of sole survivor. And 100% Yellow Sophie will be seen as a traitor. Even though Rizzo and Sav are the ones making the moves, Yellow Sophie was the one that defected. And I can't remember if I've said this before, but why did they go to the bother of picking nicknames for both of the Sophies, have a Soph and a Sophie, when they already had names for them, Yellow and Blue Sophie? So goodbye to Juan. He had ideas, but he just had no idea how to put them into play. That's all I've got. Happy days, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, they're always trying to force things, aren't they, to a narrative. Next up, got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, this was the episode I've been waiting for. It even featured Rizzo's torch getting snuffed. That's true, huh? We didn't even notice that.
You know, I don't know do you think Jawan might have done that deliberately?
No, he didn't have that kind of presence of mind. You're talking about the guy who evidently absently took stuff from Savannah multiple times.
Mm.
Okay, so it even featured Rizzo's torch getting snuffed, though the wrong person was holding it at the time. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. Here's my other observation. Soph needs a new dictionary. Last time I checked, even Steven doesn't mean getting even with Steven. Sage is lucky that the tribe didn't get wind of her bad gas ruse. When Christina had her breakdown, I was convinced that Jeff had been replaced by the Jeff GPT AI. Those burgers at Sanctuary looked like they were bigger than Soph. Another reward challenge, another schoolyard pick, another close finish. Pay attention, Jeff. Like Stacy, I noticed the S team. Has anyone else noticed the J team near the end of the listener feedback shows? My affinity for alliteration
Josh, Jen, Jeremiah
has been pointed out. Rizzo, it only took 40 seasons for you guys to catch on. Rizzo cried after losing the reward challenge. Missing out on chocolate cake can do that. Jawan's plan to make people feel a little better, catch a little fish, and make them laugh a little. The barometer on Steven's gas tank is on E. That's a weird way to measure fuel. Must be a NASA thing. Supply and demand 101 for Trader Jeff. If nobody wants what you're peddling, your price is too high. Jawan is a terrible he is a terrible haggler. It's definitely not his mysterious superpower. Christina's playing like she's on the bottom. Newsflash, she is on the bottom. Former news reporter Savannah's next profession will be lead interrogator for law enforcement. Sophie says Jawan is a good player. Does she owe him money or something? Rizzo's fake idol play was a better version of Rachel's shot in the dark feint. He got to keep both his idol and the shot in the dark. Sophie said Final Tribal is like the Super Bowl. To Sage, a Super Bowl is probably one that holds lots of black kids.
Of course.
Jawan thinks he's a threat. The tribe agreed. The Rizzo who cried wolf? Hopefully, he's better at crying than he is at singing. What was up with Jawan's Shan Savannah vote? I think that was Steven.
Steven, I think.
Yeah. Is there any surer way to spread a secret than to tell someone not to tell anyone? Jawan had stinky hugs for everyone. Per last week's reward, he probably followed that with fried chicken at Ponderosa. It was refreshing to see new challenge elements like the teeter tunnel and the buoy swing. Jawan took Rizzo's torch. To be true to his brand, he should have taken Savannah's. That would have been awesome if Rizzo had handed him Savannah's bag. Rizzo says he's at Tribal to put on a show. If he isn't careful, he'll be taking his act to Ponderosa. Was Jawan taking Rizzo's torch an outside-the-box attempt to have Jeff snuff it? In the spirit of the Thanksgiving holiday, I'm thankful that the boy band has been benched. With Jawan's demise, the bottom has finally fallen out for the bottoms up alliance. I got it. Next time Soph might turn on her ally, Savannah plots revenge. Sage is upset with Sophie, and when you tick Sage off, you go home. Who'll get pagonged by Rizzo, Savannah, Soph, and Sophie? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Next.
I don't understand where the Shan/Savannah came from.
Let's just call it a brain fart.
Well, maybe, but that was weird.
Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on Survivor 49, Episode 10. I don't have a whole lot of coherent thoughts because of the craziness of the holiday weekend, but I will say this. I don't know what was going on at Tribal Council with Rizzo and this fake idol. I don't understand why all the showboating. I didn't see the purpose of it other than to just rub it in the others' faces, and that just confused me. All of the facial expressions of Savannah and the, did you vote for me? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. All of that stuff. I just felt like it came off as mean-spirited and kind of mocking in a way. My heart went out to Christina for having the crisis that she did and having to have that on camera. That really got to me, and it was probably especially poignant to Jeff having just lost his own mother. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me. It's very brief. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's going next. I'm so confused. Looking forward to everyone else's thoughts, though. Till next week.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen.
I wondered if Rizzo was really... of course, he wanted to make a show. That's a given. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I thought he might have considered using that to judge and see if they reacted when he played it for Savannah, which they did. Their faces did, some of them anyway, that they showed. Because he could have still, if he didn't think the reactions were right and that they voted for Savannah, then he could have turned around and played the real idol for himself.
Yep. I think you and some of the other super fans who said the same thing are on the right track with that. It was most likely gauging because he had the opportunity to see what Rachel did in 47.
Yeah. And you're wrong. There have been other people who have mentioned your penchant for doing the J's together and different letter names together.
Oh, okay.
That's not the first
thank you. All right, even that up. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here. So, yeah, I really thought that we were watching the end of Christina there. I, as I'm sure Jeff was bracing myself for Christina's quitting. I'm thinking it was like a roller coaster in Jeff's mind because on one hand he was thinking, wow, she's really opening up here to me. And on the other, he was probably thinking, wow, this won't look good for the show or me if she does quit. So, way to go to Uncle Jay for actually talking her down off that ledge. And, okay, there's a few what-ifs coming up here, but what if Christina and Jawan were on opposite teams at that reward challenge? And what if Jawan's team won? Would he have been expected to trade places with Christina and let her eat? What if he didn't? Yeah, this is just one of the bizarre things that went through my mind since the episode aired. So, getting back to reality, I have to say that the episode wasn't exactly my cup of tea because of the players' personalities. I think out of everyone still in the game, I like Steven the best, and he's really in trouble here. You know what? Strike that. Out of everyone in the game, I probably only like Steven because I have no problems with him. Why? Well, I want to like Sage, I really do, but she's so out there, and I just don't think I could pal around with her, let alone go out in public with her. Lord knows what she'd do, and honestly, unlike her, I embarrass easily. And Savannah, come on, how do you think she feels while watching this and realizing that she's getting a villain type edit? I'm sorry, but to me she's a villain, and her co-villain is Rizzo, who not only realizes it, but revels in it. With Savannah, I think she has no clue out there, but Rizgod knows for sure and is doing everything he can to come across as unlikable. And the fact that he's such a physical klutz just makes his Rizgod nickname, a name that he coined himself, of course, just fit him like, an oversized clown suit. I mean, come on, bud, you know your limitations by now. And when you come up to a balance beam, side saddle it already. And that stunt at Tribal with that fake idol, did it win him any votes with the jury, or am I just a crotchety old man who thinks Rizzo's a super cringy guy? And then there's Sophie B, who currently is just riding coattails. She's the low woman on her totem pole, but good for her that she's kept her advantages secret, because hopefully her big move will be to steal Rizzo's idol, and then vote out either him or Savannah. Even when she does that, though, there's just something about her. I just can't get behind her. And Christina, well, does she even belong out there? She's a wonderful person, I get that, but she's not even an adequate Survivor player. Right. I chalk her up to more bad casting. And Sophie S., yeah, I guess I like her. I certainly do as compared to others, but it's Steven that I find myself able to actually relate to. Everyone else just bothers me, and if Steven and Sophie S. leave the game, well, I'm certainly going to continue watching, but I can guarantee that there won't be much wind in my sails. So, wow, this turned out to be quite a negative mess, huh? As for who goes next, myself, I'd keep Christina as long as possible. So to me, it's either Steven or Sage. So perhaps Sage. There's a bit of a revenge factor involved here to get her out, but knowing Riz and Savannah, and to a lesser extent Sophie B, well, keeping Sage around a bit longer could be a form of torture for her that Savannah and Riz would certainly enjoy. Still, I'm going to say it's Sage. So there you have it. I'll be more upbeat next week, I hope. Catch y'all later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, this was the episode that really highlighted how out of her element Christina is. And it took her to day 19, day 18 to realize how she's just not suited to being out there.
Well, though I do have to admit that I think she's done way better than I thought she would coming in. I really thought she'd go out early.
Yeah, we both had her on the first to go list, as did a lot of people.
Yeah, and so...
But do you attribute that to her, or
I do.
has she been carried?
I think she was in a good alliance.
They won, and that carried her.
And they won a lot, yes. And that helped, because then she had the opportunity to really use her social skills and bond with some of the people there. And it seemed to be a pretty tight bond, except, of course, with Sophie S., who she kept putting Sophie's name out there.
I don't even think it was a tight with MC either.
But even in the challenges, she was one of the first people coming over that balance beam with the letter on her. So, it was, I thought, wow.
Then she showed up at the end and completely got nowhere.
Tries.
Yeah, that's good.
She really tries hard, and she wanted to be there. And in the beginning, I thought she was just mom on vacation, and she didn't really care.
Well, self-described, but yeah.
Yeah, so I did change my opinion in that respect. But why would they go for her? Why would they waste their time right now? She is not a threat in challenges. So
not
they
really.
have other people, Stephen, even Sage, and at some point, Sophie. Why wouldn't they want to get out Sophie S? So
Sure. Well, Savannah will. Savannah likes winning.
Yep. And so I don't know who's going this week, but I would like to see Sophie get ready to do the Rizzo blind side, but I think it's too soon. And so
Well, when does she do it, though? She's got to have numbers to act with, because when
Yes,
she does
she does.
that, she potentially loses Savannah, or at least she gains some distrust from Savannah in a significant way if she yanks it and sends him back into Ponderosa. So she needs to have some numbers to help her pull that
she's been
off.
working on all the other people, getting in good with them, or trying, Sage and Christine included, even Stephen.
Right.
So
we saw her have moments with Sage, Sophie S., and Stephen in this last episode.
I just don't know when she'll decide to pull that trigger, but at this point, I still think that's something she's going to shoot for, because that would really increase her resume a lot.
Okay, final three. Who wins? Sophie S., Sophie B., Christina.
Sophie B.
Yeah, because she's got that move against Rizzo.
If she makes that play. Yes, I think so.
That's enough. I think what's clear to me right now is that they're majorly withholding on the social game. That's become very foggy right now, where things stand socially. That's why we're struggling to figure out why is it okay to let Rizzo float with an idol like that. Clearly Savannah has been a wanted target, but she saved herself a couple of times now from that perspective. So she wasn't even on the board to be taken off.
Well, I think they were making a big play this week, going after Savannah, and thinking that, they might could flush the idol, or he might think it's him. And I think they thought he was going to play it. And, but it didn't work out that way. So,
and that all pivots around Sophie S., the betrayal.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to see some of the fallout. But does Sage really have anybody to work with? It doesn't look like she's got enough.
They don't. Unless one of the Sophies flip, they don't have the number.
Right.
Even though Savannah doesn't have her extra vote any longer, so they'll be even with that.
So we've got potentially an advantage or an idol coming in, because there'll be one rehidden after Christina's went out. So that's an X factor in this next episode. Sophie B still got the knowledge is power. Rizzo still has an immunity idol. So those are the elements there.
But even if the two Sophies were plotting to take out Savannah and Rizzo, why do it this week? Because
numbers. It's just a pure that you've got numbers.
Yes, but there would be, either Rizzo or Savannah would be left. So you would assume they were targeting the two of them, not just one of them. They don't want to leave either one in. But then the Sophies, there'd be 3 other people, and that could gang up against them.
You're saying Christina, Sage, and Steven against those two?
Yes, when they got rid of Savannah and Rizzo. So that would leave them a little more vulnerable unless they were, yes, Sophie's good in the challenges, but so is Steven. But if you want to get rid of the idol, but Savannah's such a big challenge threat that you want to get rid of her too. Though Sophie doesn't seem to, because she wants her
Sophie
for
S was fine leaving her in as a shield.
Yeah, and I don't know if Sophie will turn on, Sophie S will turn on Sophie B or not. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Sophie S has shown that she'll turn on anyone, because there was no one that was standing with her. Yeah. She had no motivation to be loyal. Yeah. So she's gone full opportunistic at this point, and it comes down to, did you pick the right path?
Right. My guess for this week is either Steven or Sage. And I know Savannah wants Steven, but the others,
I would say Savannah's more driven by revenge, and she'll take Sage.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm leaning right now, I'm leaning towards Sage. Number one, Steven's my USB, and I really like Steven. And so I'll probably put Sage. And because I do think Sage would be a good target, because they know she's against them, and she's tried to get them. So, I would want her out.
Do you think Christina's going to find out that Steven spilled the beans about her idol?
I'm afraid somebody's going to let that slip out, and she's going to be very hurt. And, he's been her comfort, her person, and it'll hurt a lot more.
I think Christina will maybe even be fine voting out Sage, because Sage is the one he told first, and Sage is the one who kind of blew it all up by spreading the secrets.
Yeah.
So I don't think Christina will have any trouble voting for Sage in that case.
Or
she'll forgive Steven quicker than she will Sage. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody who took time on this busy holiday week to send in your thoughts and predictions. We enjoyed that. Loved hearing what you thought about the episode. I want to say a big thanks to Pat for your recurring donation. Greatly appreciate the help with our operational costs.
And if you play in GSFL, remember to make your pick for 1 person voted out and 4 people who you think will still be in the game at the end of the episode.
I'm hoping it's up and away through the end of the season for here.
Yep.
Excited for the next episode on Wednesday, and we'll be back with our recap then.
Yes, 2 more weeks before the finale. Wow. Have a good one, everybody.